this lady was talking about. She showed a picture of a plant that she has at her house. Is somebody here?
I don't know.
Pause that. What are you doing? What's
Hi.
up? Jericho.
Hi.
Jericho. What did he come here for? It's
Yeah.
Jericho.
Raquel probably forgot something.
Yeah,
Jericho.
it's Jericho. I saw his big head.
Better call somebody.
Right. For real. Running up in here, about to get.
You seen Jericho?
Yeah, we saw him. We
Yes,
saw him.
bruh.
I don't like surprises. You know what I mean? I like to know.
We're about to get chop blocked. Anyhow. So I saw this post. This lady posted a picture of a plant that she has at her house, and that plant in its natural environment. And she made a joking comment saying, look at this plant out there all unattended in its open wild environment flourishing. I got this plant here and I water it and give it sunlight every day and it dies. And I'm like, it made me think about a lot about that statement, because at the end of the day, we tend to think about like, okay, if I can replicate or duplicate or mimic something that's natural, right? If I can mimic it or duplicate it, then it's just as good as the real thing, and It's not. The reason why that thing is flourishing in its wild environment is because it's getting much more than just water and sunlight. You're not taking in consideration the root, which you don't see.
Right.
The nourishment that the roots are taking in from the soil in which it's planted in, right? It's not necessarily meant. You might have it in some good soil for like a pot, but it's still not gonna flourish like it would if it was in its intended environment, soaking up the nutrients it's supposed to soak up from the soil that it was initially deposited in. And so, a lot of times it is for us is like we will try and replicate things, and we only think from the perspective of like the upward, outward, what we can see. Because I can see, okay, the leaves are green, okay, I just got to keep pouring water on it and make sure that it gets sunlight. Not taking in consideration, like, man, the root, the foundation, the bottom, the underneath, the stuff that we don't see. That is just as much important, if not even more important, than all the other stuff that we're doing.
Wow.
So what you're telling me is it's important that seeds are planted in the right place.
Correct. In the right place. Like, I mean, you're not gonna Susoon, where we're at, man, a lot of the ground here is clay. A lot of the ground is clay, so it doesn't make good for, you have to, a lot of it tends to be like a lot of the, I guess what they would consider the topsoil, it's clay. So you have to dig kind of deep to get down into the ground to where you get to the good stuff. And so, because I've seen like a few people who have like wanted to like plant stuff in their backyards and stuff like that, and it didn't work because, lo and behold, a lot of the ground around here is clay. And so they had to like dig super deep. They were like, yeah, if you want to be able to plant this and get a good harvest, you're gonna have to dig deep, like break up this ground really well, and you'll get down to like the real rich, good soil. And you may want to even go and and purchase some more of that good soil to put on top of that, so that way you can, go ahead and get a good grow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very vital that, you don't just cast your seed anywhere, right? Yeah, you don't just cast your seed anywhere. I'm just saying, like those that know what I'm talking about, people that know what I'm talking about, like that's why I believe God created marriage and bearing children for the safety of marriage, man. Like, dude, like think about that. When I talk to my sons, who are of the age where they can, be father a child, like understanding, like, dude, you don't just treat, your body as just an object, or treat that as just something that's trivial or meaningless, because you have the potential to create life. Mm-hmm. And where you create that life and who you create that life with means everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy. So I think we really get into the foundation, because like you said, a fish could be a fish. You know what I mean? A seed can be an apple seed, and it can turn into an apple tree. But if you don't put it in the right environment, it's not going to work, right? You don't put a fish in water, it's not going to swim. It's not going to do what it was made to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if a bird doesn't fly, if it's not in an environment where it can fly, it's not going. How is it supposed to know that it's a bird? You
judge a fish by what is it? What did it say? By the way it climbs a tree. You know what I'm saying? The fish will think that it's stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think environment is huge. Environment is huge, for sure. I think also, too, what this is reminding me, and we keep coming back to it, right? There's so many analogies that God gives us, and, that's in the Word. But in this season, one thing that I know I need to bathe my business in, my family in, just my life in, is prayer. Because there's work that happens beneath the soil that it's like I can't actually bring forth the fruit with my own hands. There's certain things that I can do. I can, like you said, I can break up the ground. I can plant the seed. I can cover it up. I can water it. I can make sure that it's in a place where it gets good sunlight. But then again, at the end of the day, once that is done, there's a process that takes place that I have nothing to do with. And in that time, rather than growing anxious or growing weary, I need to make sure that I'm speaking life over that seed.
And that kind of becomes like when I hear you talk about prayer, I hear the word expectation. In the sense of, you're talking about, like, how does a bird know it's a bird if it doesn't fly? There are many species of birds that don't fly, and they're still birds.
Yeah.
You got major birds like emus and ostriches that will kick your chest in, but they're still birds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the only reason why I bring that up is because with expectation, like, if you, especially in like the entrepreneurial world, have this expectation that my business is going to grow like how theirs did, or mine is going to look like how theirs did, or they were at this point at year one and I'm not at this point at year one, then you'll think that, again, the whole fish and climbing a tree analogy, that you're failing, when in all reality, it's like, everything is not going to be perfect and cookie cutter. Like, yes, you can do a 5-step on how to build an ergo dog, or you can do a 5-step on how to build a Cali Fresh Prince. But ultimately, I think what we have to rely on is, like, our expectation not only has to be in, like, what the monetary success or, like, the time-made success of how things go, but being able to trust in God with the ideas that he gives us. And it's just kind of like, we talk about it all the time, and I feel like we need to have like a vocab word book or something like that. But like, comparison can really be a killer of your dreams and your visions. Only in the sense of, like, yes, it can be an encouragement to see people succeed, but at the same time, when you don't have the right expectation, you don't have the right context, it can kind of seem like you're not in the right place, when in reality, you're moving in the right place. It's just, your hope is all messed up.
Well, take heart, man. One of the things that I came across, matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. CNBC made this list based on number of small businesses, median household income, business survival rate, cost of living, and payroll for small businesses, it says that California is number one for one of the best U.S. states for quitting your job and launching your own business.
Is that what you sent me the other day?
I don't know if I sent it to you or not. I might have.
Okay.
But yeah, California's number one, Texas number two, New Jersey, Illinois, and then Georgia. So
the ironic part, bro, about living in California, you gotta have a side hustle, like, to survive. Because when I heard that the poverty line was like what, $120,000 a year,
bruh,
especially where we're at,
Yeah.
bro.
Bay Area is like the most expensive place to live compared to your income ratio. Is that boy still here?
Yeah,
I just heard the door
I
close.
bet you he's probably like printing homework or something.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that is something like that. Anywho, yeah, you good, Josh?
Yeah, I'm tying up these thoughts. Like, today was really a day, Today was really a day, and coming to a resolve about it, and just making sure that I remain encouraged. Like you said, I mean, at the Forward, one of those Fridays, like, learning the art of falling and getting back up, is you feel me? It's huge. It's huge. And in business, man, it's constantly, it's something that's happening over and over and over again, trial and error. And like you said, someone else's business might take off and start running faster than yours. You know what I mean? And it's not really to compare. It's not to compare.
But it is. We fall into that trap of comparison, man. It's like so easy for us to. It's almost like quicksand. Like, you just stumble upon it, and the next thing you know, like, dang.
Yeah.
Like you admire a little too long, and then now you're like waist deep in the quicksand.
Bro, you know what Ben has been my comparison killer for me personally. So this is just a quick shout out to these two individuals. They're both probably like 18 and like maybe like 17, 16 or something. One's in high school, a senior, I think. One just graduated. It's Naya Shoots, and it's another kid that's shooting at Army right now. Rather than it being a comparison game, I take the time out to reach out and like compliment. Cause like with this Linnea Shoots girl, dude, I could tell the skill was there all last year, and like she's in the same field that I'm in, and she's doing well. Mm-hmm. And now she's setting up like her system,
the marketing, everything. Yeah,
she's doing dope. And I messaged her. It was just like, hey, I don't know you like that. I've only met you once, but I'm like seriously really proud of you. Like, you're killing it right now. Mm. And like, rather than kind of make it a point to be like, well, I could do that, or I wish I was there, or blah blah blah. I'm like, nah, bro. There's plenty of pie for all of us. Like, you're killing it. But rather than letting it discourage you, what's your whole saying?
To discourage you from being discouraged and encourage you to be encouraged.
Right. Rather than taking a moment to discourage yourself, why not encourage somebody else? Mm-hmm. It's like, even when you don't got it, you said it earlier in the episode, is to dig deep and find it. Like, hey, I don't have nothing to encourage myself with, but let me encourage you. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, maybe I found something right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, because one of the things that I've been thinking about too lately is the whole comparison thing. Is we'll look at other people, and rather than just admire, you know what I'm saying, just admire the way that they're being used in their gift, or the way that they're exercising their gift, and they're putting their gift, they're finding success with their gift is making room for them. We can easily fall into the temptation of like, well, man, why isn't it the same for me? Or why does it seem like it's taking longer for me? Or, X, Y, and Z. And the thing is that, again, there's that timing thing, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times we put our timing on the situation. And when we try to anticipate the time and rather than just go with the rhythm of the way that things are supposed to go. We end up pimping ourselves through comparison. Through comparison, we end up pimping ourselves out of the process. We end up pimping ourselves out of the progress that we've made. We end up pimping ourselves out of our purpose, right? That's what ends up happening. I mean, like, there's a lot of pimping going on.
This
right?
episode's gonna be called Big Pimpin'. Just letting y'all know now.
I see the real right now. Pimping ourselves.
Right?
Right.
Are you
seriously,
pimping yourself?
Pimping yourself through comparison, man. And you can't do that. You can't allow, comparing yourself to somebody else because we're all different, man. Again, it's like there's room for everybody, and you just gotta. I definitely think that you're on to something with the whole thing of bathing things in prayer, man.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I had a breakthrough in prayer, in my prayers earlier. Was it last week? With concerning my son, right? And what's funny about it is like I've been praying, diligently praying something over him for like the better part of probably. I know it's been at least 6 months I've been praying this prayer over him. And it's been the same prayer. It's not like, again, let's not be legalistic about repetitive prayers, right? But no, I'm praying this because I'm literally like praying it as a declaration over him, right? And there's nothing wrong with doing that, like declaring, success over your business, declaring, prosperity over your business. Same thing as I was doing in these prayers for my son, and lo and behold, it was like the way I likened it to is like almost being like old school, where you have a dish that's like just a pot or a pan that's just encrusted with whatever it was that you cooked on it, and you have to apply the chemical to it so that way it sits and soaks. And sometimes you got to reapply it and reapply it and reapply it and let it sit and let it soak, and then that next time that the chemical or the agent is applied to it, it comes right off, right? And it could be that somebody else does it, and that's exactly what happened. It was like I kept I kept watering and watering and watering and watering, and I didn't see the increase because I was watering. Somebody else came along and did their part, and God gave the increase. Right? And so it's the same thing. It's like you never know. That's why you can't grow weary in well-doing, right? Because in due season, you'll reap a harvest if you faint not. Right? And there's a reason why that's given to us as a warning to take heed that, man, it's gonna get rough. It's gonna be tired. You're gonna want to give up. You're gonna want to throw in the towel. But there's a harvest waiting for you if you don't faint. So
It's good.
Again, man, yeah, just bathe that thing in prayer, man, and just trust. Like, just if you've already done the asking, and this is my approach. I'm not saying that this has to be your way of doing it, but my approach is always like, okay, I've asked and I've given my petition, and now I'm just thanking him for it. I'm thanking him for it. I'm declaring what it is that I asked for it over what it is that I'm praying. Right? I'm going from asking because I've already made my request known to God. Now I'm gonna thank him for it, and I'm gonna declare everything in his word that lines up with, that everything that lines up with his word, I'm gonna declare over that thing until I see it come to pass.
That's key, man. I got one more for y'all. Dude, look at you, Logic. Speaking of word, it ain't crashed not once. I wanted to ask you guys, Donald, we always talk about macros every now and again, but besides the Bible, we're all Christians here. Besides the Bible, what is one podcast, book, devotional that you're consuming right now that's keeping you mentally and spiritually nourished?
Want me to go? I am listening to the stories of other entrepreneurs and pretty much like their journeys along the way. There's a podcast called How We Built This or How I Built This. I forget exactly what the interviewer's name is, but he goes through and he asks Draymond John, how he came up with that. The Dyson, Mr. Dyson, about the Dyson vacuum. Burt's Bees, Carol's daughter, like a whole bunch of small businesses, like essentially their story. And that is keeping me encouraged because, like I've been saying, you know, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when the desire comes, it's the tree of life. So hearing like how someone had a vision, you know, for the business and the ups and downs, the trials and all the errors, it's encouraging for me to hear from other people like, yo, it may look like this thing popped up overnight, or maybe you just heard about me in this successful season, but these are the trials that I went through. I like hearing those. Those keep me encouraged, you know, to remember that, hey, this ain't supposed to be a cakewalk. So yeah, I'm listening to a lot of those right now. Like, what'd you say? WD-40?
WD-40, man.
WD-40. 40 tries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like hearing those stories. Those keep me really encouraged. How I built this. Yeah.
Me, as you know, I always, so I listen to, I watch rather, Secrets to Success podcast. Shout out to Eric Thomas and CJ and Jamal and Carl, all of them, man. They are a huge encouragement to me because they're actually like right around my age in my lane, and they all have families and stuff like that. So I find a lot of encouragement from them in regards, because it's like almost like a combination of entrepreneurship and ministry and, you know, all those things. And then also, like, entrepreneurially, I listen to, like, Deeper Than the Brand, Nikki and Moose. I actually, at the beginning of this year, I signed up to be a part of the Breathe University, which is through Eric Thomas's organization. And so I've been on conference calls, like, every Sunday morning, like, this year. I get up because it's 8 o'clock their time, so it's 5 o'clock our time. So I'm up every morning, every Sunday morning. Well, he is here in California, but a lot of times he's like on the road when he's doing those things. So like the conference calls, it's like 8 o'clock East Coast time, and so he's, you know, so I'm one of the early birds that's up on them calls, man, and it's a lot of just good, you know, good wisdom and information, man, and encouragement. But as far as like books or devotions, I'm revisiting. I don't know how many times I've visited this book, but I've been doing the Hope Quotient by Pastor Ray Johnston up there at Bayside. Shout out to him. That's been keeping me encouraged, definitely, man. Hope Quotient is dope, and we about to actually get into that series coming up this Sunday.
You're up this Sunday?
Yeah, I'm up this Sunday.
Oh yeah, brother.
A better designate a hitter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so those are just a few, man, and I think that's pretty much it for me. What about you, Jay?
The Watch Me Develop podcast. No,
oh snap!
No, all seriousness. One or two things. The one, naturally being in ministry, when I kind of hopped on that's like almost brand new, is called The Basement by what's his name? Pastor, is it Tim Ross? Tim Ross, I think. He's out in Texas. I just appreciate his insight. He's speaking from a place that's like being real.
I think my battery died.
I think a battery did die.
Your battery died.
It's all good. I'm just not going to talk for the rest of the time.
We can't see you, Josh.
Okay. Yeah. I think I heard Nutty call me anyways.
But I've just been on.
This guy
That's crazy.
fired.
I've been listening to The Basement. Definitely a lot of spiritual nuggets in that. A lot of like real and relevant advice that he gives to like different people in ministry. And besides that, I've been like trying to step my skills up. So I definitely have been learning some new skills. I'm trying to be disciplined and not spend money on a bunch of gear right now. But I did just make a big purchase on some hard drives, but I needed it though. Because, hard drives take up a lot of space. Other than that, I'm about to get back into this
Hard
serial.
drives take up a lot of space, but give you a lot of space.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
They do physically, but then, digitally.
But you need the space,
Right.
right?
Not to take up a whole lot of. No. But no. Besides that, about to get back into the C.S. Lewis series of books. Only from like a creative standpoint. I had finished that other book like earlier this year, and I hadn't gotten back into it. So I've been trying to hold out on reading the Screw Tape Letters because like that's one of the bigger books.
Yeah.
But I'm taking my time. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's an interesting book. I didn't finish it, but yeah, it's a trip. So are we gonna get Josh on video at all or what?
We could hold up. Yeah, start talking.
All right, so a question I was gonna present to you guys, man, and we can kind of like, wind it down with this, but I'm just curious as to what would you say has been, well, actually, there was a couple of questions, but so I'll just do one. But one question I have for you guys is if you had absolutely zero fear of failure, what would you do to pursue your success in your purpose and your calling? Like, what would you do? Like, just absolutely, like nothing's holding you back, nothing at all. Like, you just know, if I just go ahead and do this, it's gonna be the game changer and it's gonna cause me to succeed. What would it be that you would do?
Is it on?
The mic has been on.
Yeah, I know the mic has been on, but we ain't had no visual.
The visual's there, my brother.
The visual. Did you catch that, JR? What he
Say
said?
it one more time.
This dude over here stalling. Anyhow.
Nah, I'm for real.
So I'm saying, like, when it comes to concerning you succeeding at your purpose and your calling, zero fear, absolutely no fear of failure. What would you do, like, immediately in the pursuit of your call? What would you do? That would just be the game changer that would change, like, automatically you just...
Zero fear. I most likely would open up like some sort of like art and performance academy, like in a sense of like music production, probably like teaching kids music. I'm about to start spitballing a bunch of ideas. I feel like a fitness and development like academy as well too, something that not only teaches the kid the physical aspects of like sports and stuff like that, but the knowing how to take care of your chickens. That part too, taking care of the money, especially now that kids can earn money before they go to college football. Basically hitting all the notes that I kind of did when I was a kid, I was telling Erica, I wish when I went into college I would have did music production from the get-go. But I didn't know that it was really an option or a viable option. So just being able to, help kids go down that athletic outlet, and then also bringing back trades to our communities in that sense, in the music area. So that's what I can think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. Because what's funny is driving through Vallejo. I don't know if you've ever driven through that part of Vallejo. It's like kind of near downtown Broadway area, but there's a lot of like old buildings and stuff like that. Driving past one when I was frequently in Vallejo, there was like there's like union buildings out there, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a music union building that was there.
Really?
I was like, what? Yeah.
Like, what union was it?
I don't know. This is a music union. I don't know. I seen it though, and I was like, this is really that's interesting. But yeah. So all right, Josh.
I know what I would do. I was just legit asking if JR knew or heard the question. I know what I would do. I've actually been thinking about it for some time now. I would stop cutting.
You would stop cutting.
I would stop cutting right now. I would stop cutting. And the reason I say that is because I truly believe that I am kind of like teeter-tottering the like my purpose right now. I feel like I'm dabbling in it right now. I believe that once again, this vision, ergo dog, like where it's gotten from this point is God inspired. There's too many things that God has done, made ways out of no ways. That I know that this is the path I'm supposed to be on. I would double back and then I'd open up a school, a barber college, to where I can invest and I can teach other kids that don't have probably hustling like I was hustling to try to make a way for themselves and teaching them this skill, this trade that they can literally take anywhere and everywhere and have money that can be made. But yeah, I would stop cutting right now because in this season of my life, I have a finite amount of time and a lot of my better cognitive working hours are spent cutting hair. And I just know that those hours, if I were to take those hours and give that time to Ergo to really build this thing and go full throttle on Ergo, I don't think it would take much time, but I'm hesitant because I need the bills to be paid.
Yes, sir.
But I have considered, though, I got 6 months saved up that was supposed to be down payment on a house. I'm like, I could live off of that until these sales start running. But so anyways, that's the thought for me. That's what it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Don Ray.
Shoot, man. I would make music and clothes full time. That's what I would do. I would design clothes, make music, perform. I'd basically be LaRussell.
Yo, it didn't occur to me. It didn't occur to me till today that that's his backyard.
Yes, bro.
I didn't know that,
bro. LaRussell is that dude. Shout out to LaRussell.
Getting it out
Palayo's
his backyard,
finest.
bro.
Bruh.
Hey, nah, man. I like that dude. I mean, bro. Like all jokes aside, like literally, LaRussell was funny about it, man. Back when I was a young whippersnapper, man, with my homeboys that were doing music with me and stuff like that. We used to talk about the stuff that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? We were like, man, should we, make our own merch, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? Just do everything independent, blah, blah, blah. And, but that's the beauty of the age that we live in right now, where there's so many things, so many resources that are accessible for you to do it. And so for me, like I said, going back to the original question of having no fear of succeeding, no fear of failure, no fear of succeeding, that's what I would do. I would do that along with the fact of creating like some type of skill center for my community, which is kind of surrounded around the arts and again, like having a whole financial literacy component as well as like a physical fitness component to it as well. But yeah, that's what I would do, definitely.
It's like trying to put back into the community what they took out of schools, kind of thing. I think that's my thought process.
Basically,
It's like them taking out a lot of music components. Yeah.
I to be honest with you,
The
man,
enrichment portion.
because to be honest with you, IB, whatever, it's a joke. All of it's a joke. I'm just putting that out there. You can quote me on that. Being a parent who sees it, because it's like these counselors and teachers, a lot of these counselors and teachers, and I might get some backlash for this, who knows, but they're trying to push every child through a cookie cutter system, man. And I'm not with that. I had to go back and forth with my daughter's counselor over and over again about the fact that, like, look, I get what you're saying is the standard of what you guys have for your agenda, but she doesn't fit that agenda. And she can still graduate without fitting your agenda. And we don't want your agenda. So we need to make some adjustments, right? Because their big thing is like, you know, and I think a lot of it boils down to money and funding and what it is, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Get as many people in that class as possible.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Is so that they can get the state funds and grants and all that kind of stuff or whatever, because they're pushing a certain agenda for our kids, man. And at the end of the day, it's not in the best interest of the child. It's in the best interest of a system.
What do you feel like the ultimate agenda is, though? Like we're using IB obviously as like
as an example,
piece.
just an example. But I'm just thinking education, traditional education, period, or what we see is as far as public school is concerned, the system. What is the agenda? I think. Let's not go down the rabbit hole of because, man, I could be conspiracy theorist, right? I don't want to go there and turn this into one of those kind of podcasts.
Conspiracy theorist Johnson.
Right? We ain't trying to go on the dark webs of TikTok. Okay?
Right.
We're trying to do that. But I do honestly believe that there is an agenda, man, and it's in overall the agenda has to do with money. Somebody's getting paid.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody's getting. It's just like curriculum, right? There's. You subscribe to a particular curriculum, somebody's going to get paid for it. And that curriculum that the school system unfortunately has subscribed to in our public system does not serve the best interest of our youth and our children. And it's just basically set up right now to just have them check off all the lists that they've taught them what they think they should know. And when they get out of school, they can't critically think. They don't know the first thing about what to do as far as, you know, trying to live independently, because they've been in this system that's taught them and told them what to think and how to see things. And this is ain't taught them how to lose, right? Ain't taught them that there are people that are losers in life. But everybody wins, and it's all about tolerance and acceptance. No, because people ain't gonna tolerate you. Understand that. You might get out there thinking that people gonna tolerate you. You might get socked in the mouth. That's what life is like.
Sheesh.
And it doesn't serve our children well, man. So
that should be the next episode. Talk about
get socked in the mouth.
Nah, socked in the mouth. Episode 48.
Blood on your lip.
Nah, that'd be a dope episode. Talk to somebody about like education and like traditional versus non-traditional approaches to living life, dude. Because it's not working McDonald's and then six-figure career. There's so much in between that.
Yeah, so much stuff in between that.
There's this there's a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Have y'all heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Man, fire book. That book actually is what caused me to leave the shop and go open up, work on the space at the house to where I can be able to cut from home to be building something else on the side. There's a concept in there called the 80-20 rule, that 80% of your work gets done in 20% of your time. And I was thinking like, man, how does that relate to me? Well, my busiest days are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know what I mean? I could just cut on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, cut out the rest of the week. And I started doing that at that time, but within the scope of working at a shop, it didn't really work like that.
That's funny you say that, because I recently got into a conversation, and I'm gonna bring this to y'all.
What's up?
Bring this to y'all. I think I might have asked you this before, but I got into a conversation with my coworkers, and so I was presented with this this dilemma, this situation, this scenario. So you can either make was it $1.5 million annually, but you work 80 hours a week? Or would you rather earn only $90,000 annually and work 20 hours a week?
Yeah, the first one, because I know what I would roll it over into immediately.
So you'd rather work 80 hours a week in...
Excuse me, no, the second one. The second one. I'd work shorter time, less pay. Shorter time, less pay.
Yeah, you've asked me before.
I asked you that before,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
But-
What'd you say?
I said the 90.
90? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But in regards to the 4-hour work week, he frames the question similar to how you framed the first question, which was, what was the question you asked? You said,
Would you rather earn like...
No.
Oh,
if there was no fear
Oh,
of
no fear. Yeah,
fear
yeah,
of
yeah.
failure. In the book, he says if you were rich and retired, right? You're rich and you're retired. So he takes you in this room where it's like, okay, money's not an issue, right? And there's nothing that you have to do for as a job, right? You're rich or you're retired. What would you do on a daily basis? Like, what would you do that would bring you purpose, right? And he takes you through that exercise, and he pretty much shows you how he was able to build work around his life, right? Rather than build his life around his work, right? And it's a very, very unique perspective and thought to have, because we tend to stop dreaming once we're not kids anymore. I remember in school we used to play this game called MASH, Mansion, Apartment, Shack, House.
Shack House. I remember.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, well, where do you want to live? And how many cars do you want to drive? In what city? Who do you want to marry? Those types of things. And essentially you're dreaming, and it's an exercise. But at some point we stop dreaming, and we start to think within this box in a certain framework that what's possible, right? And when you're inside of that box, you can't build a big dream like that. So in that book, the 4-hour work week, that's like what started me off dreaming. Like, you know what? I can't think of a non-traditional way to live that's going to make sure it's pushing something that I feel purposeful about forward. I think that's a good exercise for everybody. And it really got me thinking, based on the question that you asked, Donald, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, what would I do?
Shoot.
MASH.
MASH.
That's the name of the episode. MASH.
I
Yeah.
usually figure it out when I'm editing. I don't know. It should be called Pimpin' Ain't Easy. Like, I don't know.
Right. On that note,
MASH.
It's 10 o'clock. I'm fading.
Fading.
faded. But that's all for Watch Me Develop. Develop or die.
Developer die.
This guy.
Developer die. I'm about to die.
Nah, man, that's it for tonight, man. We're gonna leave y'all with that. Another wonderful episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Watch Me Develop podcast. I'm Don the Baptist, signing out with John Butcher Jr. and Stephen Joshua Bonds.
Yeah, baby.
We love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We'll see y'all next time. Deuces.
Oh, yeah, brother.